Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mr. Ong Maths Lessons. Today, we are going to look at the new topic called Co-ordinate Geometry, and this is worth 2 internal credit in Level 2. So what is Co-ordinate Geometry? It involves two things. First, it involves algebra. You need to know your substitution skill. And next, you need to know a little bit about geometry. You need to know about the two-dimensional graph. And you need to be able to substitute the values into the formula, and you should be able to get the 2 internal credit. So there are 2 videos for coordinate geometry. The first video, which is you're watching now, is called how to calculate both the midpoints and distance. And you need to remember the 2 formula, be able to substitute into this formula, and you should get and achieve. So before we even do the coordinate geometry, we need to know what coordinate means. So if I say 5, 3, it means that your x value is 5 and your y value is 3. Similarly, if I say -3, 2, it means your x value is -3 and your y value is 2. And last but not least, if it is 4 minus 3, your x is -4 and your y is -3. These are the coordinates of the graph. That's why it is called coordinate geometry. Okay, so as I said earlier, we are going to learn 2 formula. The first formula is called the midpoint. So suppose if I have point A, the coordinate is x1, y1, and point B, x2, y2. To find the midpoint between these 2 points, you just take x1 plus x2, halve it, y1 plus y2, halve it. So the formula is given here, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So it's not too difficult. Okay, so we shall look at some example, and then we should be on our way. Okay, so we shall look at the first example. The first example looks like this. Okay, so we are going to have 2 points, A and B, and the coordinates for A is 6, 4, and the coordinate of B is 2, 3. So the formula to find the midpoint somewhere here is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So you need to know 6 is your x1, 4 is your y1, okay? And 2 is your x2, and 3 is your y2. Okay, so if you know each coordinate has x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we just need to substitute in this formula, and that's an easy achieve. So now, instead of x1, you're going to replace with 6, and then instead of x2, you're going to be 2, and then you divide by 2, and the next point, your y1 is 4, plus y2 is 3, you divide by 2, and simplify them. So the 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, and that will be an easy achieve. Not too bad, right? Okay, good. Now we look at the same type of question, but different points. Okay, we look at example 2. So example 2 looks like this. We have A is -3, 5, and B is at 7 and -1. And now, again, you need to label them. So A, x1, y1, and B is x2, y2. Now you have labeled them. You're going to put these numbers into this formula. So the point is going to be x1 is -3. -3 plus your x2 is 7, and then you divide by 2, and then the next number 5, y2 is -1 minus -1, sorry, plus -1, okay, and then divide by 2, and then you simplify them. -3 plus 7 is 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 5 minus 1 is 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and that will give you an achieve. Not too bad, right? Good. Okay, after the midpoint, we are going to look at the length or the distance formula. The distance formula is a bit more difficult. So if I want to calculate 2 points, x, A and B, we have to use these formulas. The distance or the length is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So we shall look at the example, and then we shall work it out. Okay, so again, this is your example 3. again, the first thing you do, you need to label them, okay? So 6 is your x1, 4 is your y1, 2 is your x2, and 3 is your y2. Once you have done that, you are able to substitute these numbers into this equation. So distance equals to square root. Okay, so we're going to write big now. So x1 is 6 minus 2, because your x2 is 2. Don't forget to square it, plus y2, which is your 3. I think I did the other way around. x2 minus x1, sorry. So it's going to be x2, sorry. So it's going to be x2, which is going to be 2 minus 6 squared. Okay, 2 minus 6 squared. And then your y2, 3 minus 4 squared. Okay, so we simplify them. 2 minus 6 is going to be negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. And then 3 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is going to be 1. Simplify them. 16 plus 1 is 17. And the answer is 4.12 units. That again will give you an achieve. That is how you calculate distance. Okay, we shall do the last example. Same example we've done before. So now we're going to label them. A is x1, y1. B is x2, y2. So the formula is distance equals to square root. So now you have your x2, which is 7 minus negative 3 squared. Okay, and then you're going to add x2, y2 is negative 1 minus 5 squared. Simplify them. 7 minus 3 going to be 10 squared. Minus 1 minus 5 is going to be minus 6 squared. Expand out. So 10 squared is 100. Minus 6 squared is 36. And the answer is square root of 136. Then the last step, of course, put in your calculator, and the answer is 11.66 units. So that again will give you an achieve. So you have learned 2 achieve questions. Keep practicing them, and before long, it should be easy as ABC. Cheers, everyone. Have a good day.